Are you turning 65, or maybe you've been on Medicare for quite some time and you're trying to decide which direction is the direction for you between Medicare Supplements and Medicare Advantage? Well, if that's you, then you have found the right video today. What we're going to talk about in these next few moments are the differences, and more specifically, the 6 key differences between Medicare Advantage and Medicare Supplements. Before I jump into those differences, I do want to say that you are making a major decision for your health insurance, and that can be very stressful. And then you get on Facebook or you watch television or you get something in the mail talking about this plan is the best thing you've ever seen, or this plan is the worst thing that you've ever seen, and it can be very confusing. And then you have your neighbors and your friends all telling you this different information about these different plans. And you've even heard extreme things such as you should never consider going to this type of plan, or you should only consider going to this type of plan. And it can be very confusing because you get a lot of conflicting information. And that's what we're going to talk about in these next few moments. I do want to give you a little bit of peace of mind that both options are great options between Medicare Supplements and Medicare Advantage. If somebody tells you that one is awful, that's an extreme opinion. If someone tells you that one is the only option you should consider, that is also an extreme opinion. And I like to really find a middle ground there. The true opinion is somewhere right there in the middle, that these have pros and cons. They both have their pros, they both have their cons. And we're going to talk about the 6 key differences between these two types of plans. And I don't have a crystal ball. Nobody has a crystal ball that can tell you exactly what's right for you without putting your information and having a conversation with you. So I say that to say this. You can watch this video. I hope you find it very helpful. I hope it's something that really gives you some guidance here. That's why we call this the T65 Compass. But really, ultimately, what's going to be most beneficial is that you contact one of our agents. So in the description of the video below, you can find our contact information. That way you can reach out, talk to one of our trained agents who can give you more information, further, deeper information on what we talk about in this video. So please be aware of that and know that that's something you can do. Now, let's get in here and talk about the 6 key differences between going Medicare Supplement and Medicare Advantage. Now, I did not put this in a key difference because I want to talk about experience for our video, the 6 key differences of your experience with these plans. But what's important to note is that maybe the most key difference is that a Medicare Supplement, or MedSup as we call it, that is technically going to be your secondary insurance. That works if you have original Medicare as your primary insurance. So A and B of Medicare, you get your red, white, and blue card in the mail. A Medicare Supplement does exactly what the name says it does. It supplements your original Medicare. A Medicare Advantage plan is your primary coverage. It's a replacement plan. This is an actual part of Medicare. So we have 4 parts of Medicare. That's A, B, C, and D. This is Part C of Medicare. Now, Medicare Supplement, that's not technically a Medigap, Medicare Supplement, MedSup. That's not technically a part of Medicare. This is a secondary or supplement for Parts A and B. Medicare Advantage is Part C. It's a replacement plan for your Medicare coverage. That doesn't mean you lose your Medicare coverage. It just means it's restructured, and that's what we're going to talk about here. We're going to talk about the key differences on which direction you pick and what you can expect to experience differently. In my experience as an agent so far, what I've seen is that a lot of people are mostly interested in their out-of-pocket cost. Where am I going to spend money when it comes to my health insurance? That's what they really want to know. And so that's the first thing that I'm going to address in this video is out-of-pocket cost. Where is the majority of my out-of-pocket cost going to come from with either direction? Well, with the Medicare Supplement direction, most of your out-of-pocket cost is going to be in premiums. It's going to be in premiums, meaning the amount that I pay monthly in order to buy the plan, to have the plan, my premium that I pay. That's where most of my out-of-pocket cost is going to come from, right here in premiums. If I elect to stay enrolled into original Medicare and purchase a Medicare Supplement plan, well, then I can expect to pay a premium for Part B of Medicare, and then I can also expect to pay a premium for my Medicare Supplement plan. Now, of course, we have to get some information on who you are to really figure out exactly what those premiums are. But based on our area, I'm in North Mississippi, the Southeast. We work everywhere. We're contracted and licensed in all states. We can help anywhere. But here in Mississippi, we're seeing that the average premium for a Plan G, a Medicare Supplement plan, for a 65-year-old male is somewhere around $140 a month. And that's here in the Southeast. That can vary very differently. It can be different everywhere, depending on age, area, gender, things like that. So that's not the quote I'm giving you today. That's just me giving you an idea. And for 2026, the Part B premium is $202.90. In either direction we go, we're going to spend that money. We're going to have that premium. So with a Med Sup, I'm going to pay a premium for Part B, and then I'm going to pay a premium on top of that for my Medicare Supplement. I would also have to pay a premium on any additional products that I want to add, and that's going to be part of our video as we continue to go. My out-of-pocket cost on Medicare Advantage. Where is most of my out-of-pocket cost going to come from? Well, it's going to come from copays. I'm going to have copays for every service that I can think of. With a Medicare Supplement plan, I pay my premiums up front, and then I don't really have to worry so much about what I'm paying out of pocket when I go to the doctor. I don't necessarily have a lot of copays. There are copays with different Medicare Supplement plans depending on which one you buy. But I really spend most of my money in premiums over here. Over here, I'm spending most of my money in copays. Matter of fact, typically Medicare Advantage plans have a $0 premium, meaning that I'm going to pay my $202.90 for Part B of Medicare, and then I won't pay any premium for my Medicare Advantage plan. And so now I just have to worry about paying my copays. So over here on the Medicare Supplement side, this is more of a pay up front type deal. I pay my premiums up front, and I don't pay as much when I go to the doctors. And Medicare Advantage, you can look at it as more as like a pay-as-you-go type deal. I don't pay much up front, but I pay as I go to the doctor. Right? And then a lot of people ask me, well, which one am I going to spend the most money on? Which one's going to cost me more if I have it? Well, again, it just depends. It depends on your situation. If you are on a Medicare Supplement and it has not gone up in premium yet, and the price increase has not been really high, and you do end up having some kind of major service, maybe a major cancer diagnosis or something like that, then you would most likely save money on the Medicare Supplement route. But if you're going to the doctor, your primary doctor, and you're not really having much else done, then you will certainly save money this direction too. You just need to be more prepared to understand that most of the money you're going to spend is premiums with Medicare Supplement, and it's copays with Medicare Advantage. Next, networks. People want to know, can I use these plans? Can I use my doctor? And the short answer is yes. You'll be able to use your doctor, most likely with both. But this is what it looks like. With Med Sup, Medicare Supplement, these Medicare Supplement plans have no network. They have no network. No network. I don't have to worry about a network. Now, my doctor that I want to see does have to accept Medicare in order for my supplement to work, because the doctor would have to accept Medicare and then in turn would have to accept my Medicare Supplement. So there is a little caveat there that my doctor does have to take Medicare. However, 99% of medical professionals in the U.S. take Medicare. It's not likely to find someone who doesn't take Medicare. So I don't necessarily have a network over here, which is great. I can use my doctors. I can go see my doctors. I don't have to worry about if my doctor's in network or not, as long as they take Medicare. And I'm 99.99% sure your doctor does take Medicare, then I can go see my doctor with my Medicare Supplement. I don't have to worry about a network restriction. Over here, networks. I have two types of networks with Medicare Advantage. I have HMOs and I have PPO. HMO and PPO. So with Medicare Advantage, I do have a network. And that network is just a network of doctors that are in the plan's coverage area for your region. And you have to use doctors within that network. Now, with an HMO, I have to use doctors in that network. My primary care, my specialist, my physical therapist, whatever. I have to stay in network on an HMO. I cannot go outside of that plan's network. I have to stay in network. With a PPO, I actually have the option to go out of network, but my co-pays will most likely increase. So if I use a doctor in network, I'll have a lower copay. Outside of the network, it would be higher. But I do have the option to go out of network on a PPO plan, which gives me more of a wider range to go see doctors, which a lot of people like that about those plans. We'll talk about maybe some of the extra juicy benefits that are between these a little later in the video. But you do need to know that there is a network with Medicare Advantage. Now, the good news is as long as you're talking to an agent that has the right tools and education to help you get a plan that your doctors prefer you be in, then you'll be just fine. For example, we have agents here that they have access to tools and education that can plug your doctors in and tell you exactly what plan your doctor prefers you be on if you elect to go Medicare Advantage. Also, it's important to note that most doctors in the United States take Medicare Advantage at this point. Most medical professionals take Medicare Advantage at this point. If there's a medical professional that you would have more difficulty with, it would be something like maybe like a skilled nursing facility or something like that. It's not typically your primaries and specialists that you have any issues with. Next, prior authorization. So what is a prior authorization? A prior authorization is the process of getting a service approved before I have that service performed or done or completed, right? So if I want to have a surgery done, some insurances will make me go through a prior authorization where they pre-approve this. They approve that it is necessary for me to have this service done. With Medicare Supplement, I technically have none or no prior authorization to deal with. Now, Medicare does have a prior authorization process. So I can run into prior authorizations. Medicare Supplements technically don't have their own prior authorization process, but I still could be subject to prior authorizations through Medicare, but it's very unlikely. Most of the time, Medicare is pretty straightforward with the billing, and prior authorizations are not as relevant, but I could technically have some prior authorizations. Now, with Medicare Advantage, I do have some prior authorizations. I do have some, meaning that I could run into this. Now, the reason I use the word some is because it's not a ton of prior authorization. It's not like every time you go to get something done, there's going to be scrutiny whether or not you can get that service done. That's not the case here. However, if you were to get a major service like a surgery or some kind of therapy done, it's very likely that your carrier, your Medicare Advantage plan, would want to coordinate with your doctors to make sure that it's necessary or there's not some other kind of treatment we can use before getting that major service done. So I do have some prior authorizations that I may have to go through, and we see that more with Medicare Advantage, but it's not necessarily a whole lot, and it's actually something you're very used to. You've actually had a lot of experience with your work coverage or employer coverage with these prior authorizations. Next is a drug plan. When I am on a Medicare supplement, I would have to purchase a drug plan. So if I elect to enroll or stay enrolled into Original Medicare and buy a Medicare supplement plan, that does not include drug coverage. It will not include drug coverage. I would have to purchase an additional drug plan. And so I would have to go in and pay another premium. I'm already paying a premium for my Part B insurance. I'm paying a premium for my Medicare Supplement insurance. And now I'd have to pay a premium for my drug plan as well. So I would have to purchase a separate drug plan here. With Medicare Advantage, it's actually included. Drug coverage is most of the time included. There are Medicare Advantage plans out there that do not include drug coverage. So you want to be careful which one you elect if you were to enroll into a plan. But these are included at no extra cost. No extra cost here. That's why I said earlier, you're looking at premiums are out of pocket, and over here it's copays. We're not paying as much premium over here because there's a lot of services that or a lot of coverage I'm getting included in my Medicare Advantage plan over here, right? So I have an included drug plan. Over here I would have to purchase one. Switching. when it comes to switching your insurance, there's a variety of reasons why you would want to switch or need to switch. With a Medicare Supplement plan, what you need to understand is that Medicare Supplement plans are going to have premium increases every year. Especially if you're using it a good bit, you could see premium increases. Even if you're not using it a lot, your area, your age, everything comes into an equation, and you would see an increase in premium on your Medicare Supplement plan every year. And you would want to try to maybe swap that. We call it rewrite that plan to get the same coverage with a different carrier maybe in order to get your premiums down. But if you were to do that, you would have to go through underwriting. Okay, unless you lived in a state that has a birthday rule or something like that, but that's still not the common practice. The common process is that you would have to go through underwriting, and even if you lived in an area that had a birthday rule, then you would have to apply for that coverage within that month of your birthday. You couldn't switch it anytime you want to. If you want to switch it anytime you want to at the end of the year, you would be subject to underwriting. And if I don't, this is actually a key important note here, if I don't enroll into a Medicare Supplement plan from the jump, if I don't do it within that open enrollment period, that 12-month window I get when I'm turning 65, then I would be subject to underwriting whether I had one originally or not, if I had a Medicare Supplement originally or not. So I do have to go through underwriting to switch these if I want to do that. And the same or other side of the coin here is if I'm on a Medicare Supplement and I leave it and I want to come back to it, now I'd be subject to underwriting. So that's something to consider there too. With Medicare Advantage, these are switching is based off time periods most of the time. What do I mean by that? I have seasonal periods that I can enroll or change my Medicare Advantage plan. The one that first comes to mind is AEP, Annual Enrollment Period. That's October 15th through December 7th. If I enroll into a Medicare Advantage plan, I can change that plan during that time frame. I can't just willy-nilly change my Medicare Advantage plan through the year unless I have a special life-changing event that would open that up for me. If that's the case, then I could change. But if I don't have some kind of special election period, I have to wait for that time period. I also have what's called OEP, which is Open Enrollment Period for Medicare. It's January 1st through March 31st. And that's when I can change from one Medicare Advantage plan to the other. I also have to use the AEP period to the annual election period or enrollment period. I have to use that to change my drug plan too. So if I have a standalone drug plan that I purchased with my Medicare Supplement plan, that's the only time of the year that I can change that without some kind of special qualifying condition. Which brings me to my last key difference here. That's extra benefits. Extra benefits. If I want extra benefits, Medicare Supplement plans don't include them. I would have to purchase an extra Medicare Supplement, or not an extra Medicare Supplement. I would have to purchase extra benefits if I wanted to have extra benefits. If I wanted things like dental, vision, hearing, if I wanted something like cancer coverage, heart attack and stroke coverage, critical illness, home health care, long-term care, those are things that I would have to purchase. I would have to purchase extra benefits over here for my Medicare Supplement route. Again, that's why I say premiums is where you're going to spend most of your money. Over here, with Medicare Advantage, a lot of these extra benefits are included. Things like dental, vision, hearing, gym memberships, food cards, over-the-counter coverage. There's a lot of bang-for-buck benefits that are included with Medicare Advantage plans. So I can actually get those extra benefits at no cost to me. It's included in that $0 additional premium. So you can see here that there's a lot of bang for buck over there. So those are 6 key differences: out-of-pocket, networks, prior authorization, drug plan, switching, and extra benefits. It's very important that you understand all these because these are the 6 key differences that will affect your experience with Medicare. And I know you were hoping that I would tell you which one's better than the other. I'm not going to do that. It's up to your situation and up to your wants, your needs, and your family, and how you feel and how you want your experience to be to determine which one's going to be better for you. The best way to do that is to follow the information in the description of the video below so that you can contact us and talk to an agent today and talk about what is specific for you, what you want to experience, how you want your experience to be, how you want your Medicare journey to go. Remember, this is a Medicare journey. That's why we made a compass. Thank you for joining us today. We'll see you later.